What's up guys, Coach Morley here and welcome to a sit down with Coach. I've recently had the opportunity to sit down with a number of different players of mine that I've been working with for at least 2 years and to tell their story and have a chat with them about some of the obstacles, some of the people that have helped along the way, and just to really understand what they've been through recently, and especially with COVID happening. So I hope you enjoy. Welcome to a sit down with Coach. Let's get into it. What's up guys, it's Coach Morley. Welcome back. Today I've got my longest term athlete since I've been in Perth. Tobey Martin's been training with me since day one of me working out here. So it was important for me to get him to come through to help share his story, especially with what future plans are and where we're trying to go and what all of this is about. So Toby, welcome.
Thank you.
Let's just get a base of what you're currently doing with basketball in school. Where are you currently at?
So I'm currently year 12 at Christchurch Grammar School. I've been playing basketball for God knows a very long time.
Very long time.
I'm playing wobble with Redbacks right now in the 18 champs div, and then just finished PSA as well for school.
Just finished PSA. Yeah, because you're going term 4, so you won't play this.
So I'm done with PSA basketball.
Done with PSA basketball. Okay, cool. Awesome. How's your Redback season going?
It's going alright. We had a bit of a shaky start in terms of my play, but we started 3-0 I think, but then we've lost the last few, just battering a lot of injuries. Our captain and our vice captain are both injured currently. So, as usual. But
story of the sport, unfortunately. But you struggled to get out the gates.
Yeah, shooting at the beginning wasn't the best. That's one of my main things for my game. But as a few games have gone on, I've become more and more confident, and just trying to get back into that groove that I had pre my injuries.
Pre your injuries, I was going to say, so even if we remove COVID from this year, especially for your shot injuries have been a bit of an issue, and unfortunately they've been a bit of an issue through your whole kind of teenage years. Seem to keep getting hurt.
3 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, fractured my hip. Last year, fractured my finger or 2 fingers, and then this year I fractured my hand, shooting hand.
Yes. Yeah, definitely one for the wars. That's for sure. However, that being said, even though you have gone through all these injuries, you're still playing. You're still playing, and I'm slightly biased, but you're still a very good shooter. What's been the biggest kind of struggles with going through those injuries? Let's just stick with the last 3 years. Going through the hip, the hand, the fingers. What effects that had on your development, do you think? In terms of like your training and everything?
I mean, it's just like with every injury, you've got to start back at level 0 after the beginning of the injury. So that's probably the most frustrating part, because I know I can play, but then I go into basketball and I can't make a shot for shit. So it's just one of those things where you just got to like trust the process almost, and just got to go through everything and do rehab and rehab and rehab. So I mean, it's not mentally, it's okay. It can be struggling at times, and I can lose my just lose my momentum going forward. But overall, I enjoy basketball, and that's why I play it, and it gets me away from everything else. So.
True. That's definitely one massive thing that draws a lot of people into basketball, is like escapism. But you've not always, kind of throwing you under the bus a little bit here, but you've not always had that relationship with your rehab work after injuries. You, same as many other, not just athletes, but people in general, you kind of struggled adjusting to actually putting that work in on the rehab. Why? What was kind of, how comes it didn't really hit home until, maybe last year, that this work that you get given from the physios and all of that is important to do?
I mean, for me, when I play a lot of basketball, especially before I got my hip injury, I was playing a lot of basketball. So when I took those, I think it was 8 weeks of doing no running, I just enjoyed the relaxing part of it. So I guess coming back into it, I kind of was still on that sort of wavelength, tallied over, and the more injuries I get, the less focused I get, I guess. It's with every injury. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough work. But what's made you actually realise that this stuff is important? Because I know, not just from being on the court with you, but obviously speaking with your dads quite a lot.
Yeah.
Your dad's had a very active role in your journey so far. And we'll get onto that because that's important. But what finally clicked for you last year that made you start taking this stuff a bit more seriously?
It was when I've been planning to I always wanted to go to America, and we finally got the opportunity as a school to go to America.
Yeah.
And I got injured maybe 4 months before going, 5 months before going, something like that.
Yeah, you had enough time to make it back.
Yeah, but I knew that if I didn't put in the work, I wouldn't go, or I'd be injured for half the games. I wouldn't enjoy it as much. So that's what kind of put me in it, and then I kind of realised that I can do it. It's not that hard. You just got to kind of have a bit of mental resilience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's definitely now shown.
Yeah.
Because of all the setbacks and injuries that have happened along your development. I mean, as a coach, it's been a challenge for me to put training plans together for you to advance, because at least almost once a year we fall off a cliff and have to jump back a number of weeks and go back over and restart. However, this time, coming off your latest injury, that the touch hasn't been there with your hand. But mentally, you've definitely been a lot stronger with it. You coming back, you were off for the first couple of games of the season, but that's okay. It's starting to come back. You're starting to get that touch back, and that can, with a shooter, that's definitely one of the hardest things sometimes, especially coming off hand and wrist injuries to your shooting hand.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that been like for you? Like, outside of frustrating?
Yeah.
Because I see that from you all the time on the court. Outside of frustrating, how has it been managing that, going through that process?
It's been difficult because I've always, that's always been one of my strongest parts of my game is my shooting, and like I can always differentiate myself with that. So coming back from the injury and not having the level of touch I would usually have coming back from an injury, it was quite frustrating. Mm-hmm. And obviously with year 12 there's so much work to do, so I don't get as much time as I usually would to try and get back on my touch. Yeah. There's been a bit of a struggle, just trying to mentally remember everything that was with my form and then trying to keep that momentum going forward every session. So that's been a struggle, but I mean, as you said, we're just trying to get through it, and I think we're doing well, yeah.
You're definitely doing well. Focused, we worked out this morning, your shot's definitely coming back. It's looking, visually it's as good as ever. Yeah. Mechanically, most of the time it's as good as it's ever been, and then it just has those lapses every now and again, but that consistency will come. Yeah. With time, and as it does with everybody's shot, it just takes time and work, but you're actually putting it in this time and you're getting it done, even though you do have your final year at school, which is awesome. We touched on Dad earlier, and gotta make sure Mum's in there as well. Yeah. As well as I get showered at. But they've had a really big impact in your development in terms of not just carting you around everywhere, being your personal taxi service to everything, but their investment of time. Like, your dad would be at every single session. Yeah. Whether it's 6:30 in the morning or 8 o'clock at night, your dad was always there. Yeah. Yeah. And that's not easy for a dad to be able to do. So what's that meant to you to have the support, and how's that been for you?
It's meant everything for me, because I can just see how much he loves it. I think he almost loves it more than me, which is quite funny because he doesn't play at all. But it means so much for him, for me, for him to do everything for me. And obviously, as I'm getting older, he's starting to have less and less impact. But I'm just kind of now, in the moment, I'd be like, oh, I don't want him around. I want to just focus. But looking back at it, I'm really grateful for everything he's done. Yeah.
Having conversations with your dad than you.
Yeah.
Quite often because you wouldn't be honest and open up about what was actually happening in games.
Yeah, yeah.
And your dad would tell me straight what's going on in games.
Yeah.
So, and like, that communication is important.
Yeah.
Quite often I get one or the other. And I get a lot of communication from a player and little from parents, or a lot from parents and a little from player. When the balance is there, and you get, as a coach, for me, it's really helpful because I need to understand where you're coming from as a player. Okay, well, but you'll quite often only tell me, oh yeah, I made a nice corner free, a nice pull up here, and I got a nice drive middle and the floater. And then your dad will tell me about the 4 missed corner threes and the missed open left hand layup across the laneway. And they're the things I need to know because they're the things we need to work on.
Yeah.
Like, the things you do good, great, especially if it feels good if they're the things we've been working on.
Yeah, exactly.
But I need to know what else is going on, what needs to be worked on.
Yeah.
Especially like players on so many different teams on the same day all around the city. It's hard to ever go and get to see everybody play. So that feedback's important, and then their support for you, because I know that they're there. I know how hard I can push you.
Yeah.
Because I've pushed you pretty hard for like the last 5 years, and your dad's been sat right there, just not saying a thing, just carry on. And then he'll come in and be even harder on you sometimes.
Yeah.
That is what it is, but it helps you grow. It helps you move forward. Now, what wobble basketball is the main pathway that's available for kids these days in the city. Talk to me about what the wobble experience has been like. You've been in it from under 12s.
Yeah, I think 1 year under 12s till under 18s. So 7
years. So you've been playing in this system for a long time.
Yeah.
And not just at one club, you moved clubs in the middle, under 16s?
Yeah, under 16 championship division.
Under 16, your last year under 16s. What have been some of your favourite things about playing in the wobble competition?
I think just the level of play, because that realistically, as you said, that is the one major avenue for the best basketball players to come together for each age group in Perth and WA realistically. So I mean, for me, when I first started playing on the 12s, I didn't really understand what wobble was. I kind of thought of it as another rec league. Yeah. And then coming up under 14s, I made my first championship division. And then under 16s I moved to clubs, and now under 18s I'm just enjoying the fact that I can play better players instead of just going and dropping 20 a game against Div 3 locals who don't know how to
social comps.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of, if not most of, the best players in the city. Yeah. It's going to be a massive influence on your development. Yeah. Because you have to overcome those hurdles.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to beat those people. So long-term wise, what do you see basketball doing for you? Where do you see it taking you, or what do you want to do with basketball? Yeah. That's probably the better way.
I mean, at first I wanted to try and go to college, but I think just realistically and logistically it's just pretty hard for someone like I wouldn't be able to get a scholarship, obviously. So it's quite hard in that aspect, and the little exposure, especially Perth kids get. Yeah. But in saying that, I just want to keep developing. I'll keep playing the UBL for sure until I can't play anymore, and then I'll probably try and crack an SBL team at some stage too. That's probably my goal at this point. Yeah.
Had that thought drifted before COVID and everything locked down?
Yeah. No, it did. It's just more, as I said, money. It's a lot of money to go to America. And when I went to America for my trip, that cost a lot of money, and that was 16 days. Yeah. So I kind of realised how much money it's actually going to be.
You've got a bit of perspective around what the financial investment's going to be.
And then it's just as well as like school is first for me. As much as I love my basketball, school we have to be first because I'm not going to be playing basketball until I'm 9 years old. So just have to take that into consideration and then just kind of fizzle out.
Cool. So you're finishing school this year. What is the plan for next year?
I go to uni, probably a uni in WA, and try and engineering.
Engineering?
Yeah.
Nice. That's good, man. And still play ball there, or?
Yeah.
Still look to play ball in the uni?
Yeah.
Uni competitions? That'd be cool. You probably come up or play with Tyson or Jacob and the guys that are coming through.
Exactly. Yeah. Good.
It's good to see a lot of you guys going through with that and pushing forward. Okay, so you've obviously in year 12, finishing school, you're still playing wobble basketball.
Yeah.
You have a lot going on.
Yeah.
I know we've had to reschedule a few training sessions because of assignments and different things that are coming up. How have you found finding that balance between sport, life and school? Because we can't forget life in there as well.
Yeah.
So sport, life and school, how have you found balancing all of that?
It's really tough. Because obviously basketball I'm so used to playing so much.
Yeah.
Especially coming out of injuries, usually I'm just itching to play. So I love to play 7 days a week. But then I've got assignments left, right and centre, and I want to also try and go out with my friends and also have a bit of downtime too. So it's really hard, and there's a lot of late nights, and as I said, a lot of times at the reschedule.
Yeah.
But I just love basketball, so that's why I want to keep playing it. So as much as I can, I'll try and play it. But I'm finding, because I've got 2 months left of school, it's going to be less and less a bit until...
It's definitely going to be less and less over the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Definitely, because you just, like you're saying, that workload for your final year of school is, even if you guys do come out of school a year early here, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing, and that's just growing up in different places.
Yeah.
But you're soon going to have to add work into that. Cup of 3 now becomes a bowl of 4.
Yeah.
Have you put thought into starting that professional career area, or how you're gonna add that into your already crazy ass schedule?
I mean, there will be. I've had a bit of thought. I haven't had too much. I'm just trying to focus on what I'm doing at the moment. But yeah, it will be quite tough, I reckon, getting accustomed towards that. But yeah, I am looking forward to the challenge and just trying to keep developing as a basketball player and also as a person.
Nice. I like it, Tobes. I like it. I think we'll wrap that up there. I like that as a note to leave it on. Before we go, where can people find you out on socials?
So Instagram, it's Tobes_28. And then Facebook is Tobey Martin.
Nice. Alright, Tobes, I appreciate you having you through. Another great sit down with another amazing young person. These guys have all had different journeys, all have different stories, but they all need to be told. And they need to be documented so we can look back on them in the future and be like, oh, that's where I was in that crazy ass year 2020. But no, that's a wrap. Until next time, guys, it's Coach Morley. Peace out.